Welcome to Film and Page. I'm Dominic, and in this video, I'm going to be talking about crowdfunding comics. And this is going to be a cautionary tale. So, a long time ago, I backed this comic book called Sovereign, and it's over 3 years late. And from all appearances, now the campaign is closed and nobody has any kind of a product. And the creator seems to have disappeared. Now, the creator is Andrew Herta. And I followed this guy on Twitter while he was working on this project, and he's not on Twitter anymore. I don't know what happened to him, and nobody else does. So I've crowdfunded a few books now, and most of them have been late. I think might be one or two exceptions in there, but for the most part, they're always late. And this is an ongoing chronic problem with crowdfunded comic books when you go in on them. And the problem with it is, for me personally, when I crowdfund the comic, and usually it's a year out. So they'll say, okay, crowdfund it now. 1 year from this date, you'll get your comic book. You'll get the product. You go in on it. 1 year goes by. They're late. They're late by 6 months. Then it could be a year. Then sometimes even 2 years. And what that does for me personally is it kills my hype for the book. So I get less and less invested in the story that you're trying to tell with that book, because I have to wait so long to get the next chapter in it. So it kills the hype. Now, there were two cases of books that I crowdfunded that were so late, I actually forgot that I ordered them or I had crowdfunded them. And they just showed up in the mail one day and I got them. And I was actually surprised that I had gotten them. I saw this notice in the mail. I had a package to pick up, had no idea what it was, picked up the package, brought it home, opened up, and there's this book inside. Now, in the one case, the creator of the one book had suffered some health problems and was down for a while, couldn't work on the book. Okay, that's understandable. The other one, I can't remember what the reason was for the book being late, but the creator of the book had sent in 6 free comic books. One of them was signed, and an apology letter in the package apologizing for the project being so late, which I thought was a good touch. And so, I mean, that's something like that is nice to do if you're going to be late with your product and you can't deliver it on time, something unforeseen comes up. But in a lot of cases, there's been creators that have been crowdfunding comic books late on the one book, and then they start crowdfunding a second book when they haven't even delivered on the first book. So to me, it just seems like, I don't know, a lot of sketchy stuff going on in all this crowdfunding business. So now when I did this, when I started doing these crowdfunding things, going in on these crowdfunding projects, I always treated it a little bit like gambling, because there is no guarantee this person has to deliver on the product you gave them the money for. The platform itself, Indiegogo and Kickstarter, they're just the go-between. Whatever happens between you and the person you gave the money to, that's between you and the person you gave the money to. Kickstarter has nothing to do with it. But that might actually be starting to change, so I'm going to talk about that later on in the video. Now, as for this project, Sovereign, there's nothing. Like, it's all intents and purposes, this person's took off with the money. And it's been 3 years. And I really don't understand the mentality behind this. Why would you destroy your reputation like this? Even if you manage to deliver on this book at this point in time, it is so late now that you've completely destroyed your reputation. And no one will back anything you do in the future. I know for myself personally, I will never back anything by this creator again. I'll never buy anything comic book wise or anything with this creator's name on it. And I'm not the only one. Let's take a look at some of the comments here. From the very first one from 5 days ago, Thief. We have another one, 9 months since the last update, and we get a vague nothing with no real information whatsoever. Sorry, this is just pathetic. Why not be straight with all the people who funded this thing and got nonsense in return 3 years later? And someone, thanks for the update, Andrew. So I guess this person's still holding out faith that they're going to get some kind of a finished product. Somebody else commented, nobody paid you to hope to finish a page. Then there's this person here. I find it interesting that no one, not even myself, has taken him to task on his actual social media. I've private messaged him and asked him if he's stolen my money, and he's told me he's still working on it. I take that with a grain of salt since he won't update. But am I alone? Has anyone else here, especially anyone who gave him $100 or more, actually confronted him on his Instagram or Facebook? Somebody else commented, you stole from us. You're lucky we all don't band together and take legal action. So there's just comment after comment like that when you scroll down the page. So this is something, when it comes to these things, that I just can't wrap my brain around. Because now, Andrew Hurta, that's his job. His job is to be a comic book artist. He doesn't have, as far as I know, he doesn't have any other jobs. He's not a construction worker who's doing this part-time on the side. He's not like a professor or a rocket scientist. He's a comic book artist. That's his job. When he wakes up in the morning and he goes to work, his job is to draw comic books. So a lot of people just prepaid him, gave him $50,000 to deliver this product. So that's all he has to do from daylight till dark is work on this book. And 3 years later, he has nothing to show for it. He has a few pages put out there as samplers. That's it. And so it really boggles my mind why a lot of these guys can't deliver on time. Since that is their job, they don't have any other job. That's all they have to do. And this is, like I said, this is something that is just plaguing crowdfunded comics, is not being able to deliver on time. Now, there's been a couple of exceptions of people who delivered, like I got the book really fast, but for the most part, they're almost always late, and not a little bit late, like months late. So it's kind of to the point now where I haven't backed a book in a long time, just because I'm so tired of waiting. Because like I said before, it kills the hype of waiting so long for the book. So this one, I've just written it off. I've just swallowed the cost, whatever I paid into it. I've just written that money off, that I'm not going to get it back. I'm never getting that money back. I've just come to terms with that. I'm done. But I mean, as far as I'm concerned, this creator is dead to me now. Now, the other book that I have waiting for is Tadia, and that's a book that's being done by Quinn over at the channel Quinn's Ideas. And I've been watching his channel for a few years now, and he's done a lot of content on Dune that I really liked, and so he decided to get into the comic book game, and so I backed his book. And his book was late by a few months, but I believe now the books are starting to go out in the mail. So everyone who backed that book should be getting their book at some point in time here soon. But that's something that these guys really got to work on to get past this being late all the time. That they really have to work on getting their books out on time. And for a lot of them, I don't really see any excuse, especially when they go and crowdfund the second book and they haven't delivered on their first book yet. So now this goes into what, now some people, this news has been kind of making the rounds on YouTube about almost like some kind of like safety and trust counselor organization or something. I don't have all the details on it, that all these crowdfunding platforms are getting in on, and it's almost like a standard that they want to go by. Now, it is somewhat controversial if you read through the whole thing, but there are some points in it that make sense, and it's going to deal with stuff like this. So one of the things they want to do, so if you're crowdfunding a product and you're late on that product, you will no longer be allowed to try to crowdfund a second product until you delivered on your first. So this will cut down on guys cut down on people who are late on one book and then trying to crowdfund the second book. On top of that, if you don't deliver on what you crowdfunded the first time around, like this book, for example, you won't be able to start another crowdfunding campaign. So effectively, you have abandoned yourself from the crowdfunding platforms, which I think is a good thing. Because another example of this is Zoe Quinn. And this happened quite a few years ago, and I think I even talked about this a while back on my channel. She crowdfunded a game, raised $80,000 for this, and delivered nothing to her backers. And that was years ago now. So that money's gone. And teamed up with some other guy, kind of left the other guy hanging to try to answer for all this. But if you go over there on the comment section, there's a lot of angry people. And and there's been a few cases of this, of comic book creators doing this and not taking years and years and years to deliver their product. And the mentality behind that, I don't understand it, because it's not a good business practice, because you're destroying your own reputation. And it's just bad all around. And it's bad for the whole crowdfunding business as a whole, because it makes customers more and more leery to go in on a project that's a first time being backed by someone. So I think it's kind of different if you see that the person has a reputation of always delivering on what they're on their projects, and you always get them on time. But if it's something that's first time and the person doesn't have a reputation of being able to deliver on this product, it's going to make people leery to go in on that. So it's going to make it harder for first time crowdfunding people, because of people like this, ripping people off. It's going to make people leery. So it just hurts as a whole. It hurts everything. So, and the platforms never really took responsibility for this in the past. Seems like they're going to start doing it going forward, because at some point, if people get ripped off enough, they're going to stop crowdfunding things, and these platforms will stop making money at some point in time, because nobody's going to trust the system anymore, because nobody wants to get ripped off. So it's in their best interest, I think, to clamp down on this kind of stuff. So it'll be interesting to see what happens in the future of crowdfunding comics and crowdfunding other things and indie comics and all that. But and then there's some other controversial stuff going on with Kickstarter. They want to get into the blockchaining technology thing, and people are freaking out about that, which I don't really understand or know a lot about. But so I haven't talked about it at all. But this is something I really wanted to talk about, because this really got under my skin for obvious reasons. So as they say, live and learn. So that's everything I got to say in this video. Let me know what you think in the comments section, and I will see you at the next one. I'd like to say thank you to all of my subscribers. I appreciate you all in helping this channel grow. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Also, don't forget to hit the bell icon so you'll be notified when new videos are uploaded.